Time now for business, and Fernand van Tetz is here. Good morning, Fernand.
Good morning.
Now we're going to start with Brexit, and we're finally seeing some clarity on when the UK will leave the European Union.
Yes, Theresa May finally announcing when she will start that 2-year-long process. Let's hear what she said at the Conservative Party conference last night.
It is also right that we should not let things drag on too long. Having voted to leave, I know that the public will soon expect to see on the horizon the point at which Britain does formally leave the European Union. So let me be absolutely clear. There will be no unnecessary delays in invoking Article 50. We will invoke it when we are ready, and we will be ready soon. We will invoke Article 50 no later than the end of March next year.
Now, May added that she insists on taking full control of immigration and will refuse to accept the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. What her exact strategy is remains unclear, and business groups have expressed concerns about maintaining access to the single market. EU President Donald Tusk took to Twitter to reject the possibility of early Brexit negotiations before that official announcement. And the British pound fell as much as 0.5% when Asian trade started on Monday, but has since recovered some of those declines and was trading at about 1.29 against the dollar a short while ago. The pound is down 13% since June 23rd, the day of that Brexit vote.
OK, Fernand, here in France, it's a big week for the train maker Alstom.
Yes, it is a big week. Finally, decision time. The French government will this week discuss proposals with Alstom bosses and union leaders to save one of France's iconic factories, the Belfort site in eastern France. Alstom wants to close the plant, but the government, which owns a 20% stake in the company, has vowed to keep it open. Upping the stakes, Prime Minister Manuel Valls yesterday reiterated that an agreement would be reached. Martin Pollard takes a look at what such a deal could look like.
A symbol of French industry is on the brink, and the government has said it's determined to save it. This historic plant in Belfort, where the first TGV was made, would be closed due to a lack of orders. With 400 jobs under threat, protests have followed. Analysts say root causes may be France's high corporate taxes and employment costs. But with a presidential election on the way, the government will likely seek simpler solutions in its meetings with company bosses this week. One option may be to push through a pending SNCF order for TGV trains for the Paris-Milan route. But some say longer-term solutions are needed.
If we create artificial orders for political purposes, that's not sustainable. We'll make the problem go away for a couple of years, but then it will return.
Another option would be, in light of the decline in orders, repurpose the plant to focus on maintenance, engineering or signals. And then there's General Electric. The American giant bought Alstom's power unit in 2015 and promised to create 1,000 new jobs in France before 2018. So the government may look to persuade them to incorporate some of the Belfort workforce into that number.
Next, Fernand, there's just 5 weeks to go before the US presidential election, and that means the pressure is on for Deutsche Bank. Remind us why.
Yeah, the clock is ticking for them to reach a settlement with the US authorities over that fine of up to $14 billion for mis-selling mortgage-backed securities before the financial crisis in 2008. Now, worries about that sum and the German government's insistence that it will not help the bank out drove Deutsche shares into free fall last week, at some point slipping to its lowest level since 1983. Now, today, the Wall Street Journal reporting that no deal between Deutsche Bank and the Department of Justice has been presented to senior decision makers, and that negotiations are ongoing. That after AFP reported on Friday that a settlement was under discussion and that the final figure was closer to $5 billion, a huge drop. And a number of German bigwigs weighed in over the weekend, with CEOs of companies like Siemens and carmaker Daimler saying they back the bank and have faith in its management. Now we can see that growing confidence in the markets, where Deutsche traded up almost 14% in Japan a short while ago.
OK, how are the stock markets doing this morning, Fernand?
Well, it's quite a slow day. Lots of holidays in Asia, in China, in Malaysia, in South Korea. These are all closed today. In Japan, we had the Tankan survey of business sentiment, which came out today. And that shows Japan's large manufacturers pretty much ambivalent about the current climate. The index remained unchanged since June. And we can see the Nikkei here trading up almost 1 percentage point.
Okay, finally, Fernand, Google might be in trouble with EU regulators again. What's the problem now?
Yes, more trouble for Google. Now it's the EU antitrust regulators. They are saying that Google's parent company Alphabet needs to stop paying smartphone makers to pre-install Google Search exclusively on their devices. The European Commission accuses the company of using its dominant Android mobile operating system to shut out rivals. In a 150-page document obtained by Reuters, the Commission warned the company that it can face a large fine to ensure deterrence in the future.
Okay, Fernand, thanks very much for that update. Fernand van Tetz with the Business Roundup there.